Welcome back to VFX and Chill, where we VFX and we chill.
And chill.
I am Seth, and guess who that is?
It's me.
God, I pray it's you.
It's me, Hashi.
Oh, my Lord.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to VFX and Chill. Hopefully you are here knowing that we are going to cover the new Spiderman movie, which is tremendously exciting because there was a teaser trailer thing that came out for it,
awesome.
This week, and it looks chock full of all the
Cumberbatch
things.
on a train. Look, did you see that? That was Cumberbatch on a train making more trains. And not only that, it's also got Alfred Molina. I need more Molina in my life at a constant rate and stream. A constant stream of Molina is what I'm requesting for my life, please.
Constant stream. Ever since Raiders, right?
Ever since Raiders.
Like,
and that's who he is in this film, right? This is his character.
This is actually, it's
okay,
canon.
Great. So, Hashi.
Yes.
What do you want to do today?
Well, there are so many crazy kinds of effects to cover, and also there have been some community requests for some things like if you watched our teaser for this episode, it's a fun little reworked scene from the trailer of Tom Holland requesting us to cover some effects.
That
on the
was
show.
pre VFX. That was straight out of the camera from the shoot for the film. That's what he originally said before ILM had to modify his lines.
Mm-hmm. So I figured I could show people what my process is for when I want to re-lip sync something, and I could also show people. There's an effect that I really like in the show. I don't know if we have the clip pulled out separately, but when what's his face, Peter Parker distracts Doctor Strange, and it looks like their little time spell room.
Yes, this whole scene.
Yeah,
I think we both want to just pull stuff from this scene, don't we?
We love the look of this scene. This is our wheelhouse, the wheels of time.
Sparkly, shiny particle stuff?
Sparkly, shiny particle 100%. Stuff that doesn't have to be
exactly.
You know? So I really like the moment when that room splits apart and things kind of start whirling around, a whirlpool of this. I mean, that's an ambitious. There's a lot going on.
Can we
there,
talk?
But I thought that I would love to dig into some of a simple way to try to cover.
I would love to see your simple way of covering this. I do have to say, I'm looking at this clip and I cannot go another minute without saying how much I freaking love Tom Holland. And I have a soft spot in my heart for actors who perform in VFX plates like this. Like Shia LaBeouf was this great as well. Like there's this certain kind of energy of like an actor who is going at 158% on a green screen. And I just literally could watch that clip right there of Tom Holland reacting to what is essentially nothing on set on repeat, on a loop. It's just wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah, Tom is remarkable.
Excellent.
I feel like he's wonderful in the movies and outside the movies. He's a whole phenomena, which is
it's
wonderful.
Interesting you say that because, Hashi, we actually have a special guest today, do we not?
I think I had heard something about that.
Why don't we talk to him? Please welcome to the show our friend Tom Holland. Tom, welcome to VFX and Chill. We want to know everything. Dude, I can't believe you're here.
I want to know everything. First of all, awesome trailer.
Seriously.
That was really exciting. A really bizarre way that came out, though. It wasn't your traditional release for a trailer.
Right. Who leaked it is what I want to know, Tom.
No. Well, I don't know if... I know this one. Like, I think that it seemed like there were watermarks, I think, probably from one of the VFX houses. I think there was someone's name even on screen the whole time for the teaser that got released. So if people don't
I think
know
I had like a heart attack for that person. Like the idea of someone's name on a... I think we all have had... And Tom, you probably had this too. Like nightmares of imagining your name on a watermark that's leaked from like yeah.
Well, no, it's funny because well, you're known for I mean, for better or worse, you're specifically known for, flubs.
Possibly almost leaking
I don't know.
things. You're like
possibly contractual violations of amazing.
Yeah, Tom. So we have so many things we need to ask you, but I think we really absolutely need to dive into Hashi. I need to dive into some
the
VFX.
Yes, the people are here for VFX. Yeah, if you
right,
don't,
people are here for the visual effects. We need to get to the visual.
We
effects.
definitely do.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're going to focus on those. I mean, feel free to chime in if you'd like, but shall we?
If you've got questions for Tom, please put them in the chat. We absolutely would love to run them by him. So I've got our After Effects up on here. We're going to try this little split screen deal this week where you get to watch both of us working at the same time. Now you've got something fun over on your side, Hash.
Oh yeah, I was. That's something a piece of footage that I'm playing with. So we could maybe let me reopen that again. I just closed it. Yeah, don't save.
Your screen is actually frozen on Tobey Maguire. Just FYI.
All right. Is it not? Is it updating or doing anything now? It's frozen on Tobey Maguire. Yeah. That is frozen on Tobey Maguire.
Are all of us when we first see Tobey Maguire?
Excellent point, Michael. We are all frozen on Tobey Maguire, and now you actually are Tobey Maguire. Oh no!
Did that change anything?
Well, it made Michael go away. He is now Skype.
So. Okay, he's now Skype. Okay, now you're seeing.
Oh, Hashi, you're now Skype too.
Yeah, we're seeing your
Interesting.
Screen.
Well, I'm seeing your screen.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I have to do.
Seeing my screen.
I did this once. Everybody, please enjoy Hashi's After Effects while I fix this.
It's a Unix system.
I know this. Boom, you should be back.
Okay, so
there we go.
So I'm going to be all over the place today, everybody. So bear with me. That's just the way my brain works. But the thing that I'd mentioned earlier about re-lip syncing footage from another movie. I've done it in a handful of my VFX side quests and in a couple of other random stupid things that I've done for just Twitter posts and the like. But it's actually a really cool thing, and it uses machine learning to do. Let me see if I can find an example of this. Let me see if I'm sharing sound. Where would be my option to share sound? Never mind. You guys will get it. I can talk. If you play it, I'll talk. I'm making so much sense. So there's this little bit of Tobey Maguire learning to climb up the wall in Spiderman, and I tried to make it into a reasonably seamless loop here, just because he kind of does the same kind of action. So I've got it working pretty well as a loop. And what's nice is that he's not talking right now. His face is just kind of looking around and doing things. And the specific way that I know how to add lip sync to things involves it works especially well if you have someone who is moving around but not talking. If they are talking, the AI does actually try to overwrite their talking to kind of neutralize it and then add lip sync on top. But I have found that is a little bit
so you're looking for the
complicated.
You're looking for the anti-Seth word. Someone who moves a lot and doesn't talk.
Moves a lot and doesn't talk. One of the best sources for this are when people are being interviewed. A lot of the time you get their, non-verbal or reaction shots are good for this too, because they're not talking while some other character is, doling out exposition or something like that. So anyway, I wanted to just find a fun clip to be able to add some lip sync to. So I thought it would be fun, and we're on a little bit of a delay here with the chat, but I would like to record an audio file just with Audition or something like that. And then in the background, I'll have an AI try to lip sync this footage to whatever I decide to say. So let me hear some suggestions, and then, we'll do that. We'll wait for those to roll in. Just something, like a little 5 to 10 second thing that you would like to see Tobey Maguire say. And Seth, what are you thinking you're going to do today?
Well, I am thinking about. I love these. The minute I looked at this, I was like, "Oh, I can do that." Those big glowy glyphs, flying around. Those little rings. Like, I feel like okay, that's something that's in my wheelhouse. So I thought about doing your wingding approach that you did on. I've already forgotten the name of that movie. Shang-Chi. You did the
Shang-Chi and the Legends of
Thank
the
you,
Ten
sir.
Rings,
Thank you,
yes.
Michael. The the rings that you did this brilliant idea. You used wingdings. So
Yes, a great stand-in if you need some kind of random symbols that
I thought about it, but you know what?
don't make sense.
I was like, I looked at them and I was like, you know what? That would be so easy just to create. Not like I say this, the artist is out there who created this entire this is actually, first off, assuming this is not an actual language of some sort, please forgive me if this is clearly something that I do not know.
It could potentially be Sanskrit or something like that because they make a joke about that in the first Doctor Strange movie. But apologies to native Sanskrit viewers. I have no idea.
So I went and made, so this could potentially be culturally problematic, but I went and made a series.
Oh no, you're going to make the tattoo mistake.
Yep. I basically made a whole bunch of tattoos for frat guys that I'm going to I'm going to personally tattoo on anyone who wants them this spring break in Destin, Florida. But I figured, these are easy enough to make. Why don't I make them?
I like
I
that.
made them, and I just offended a whole lot of people in the process. I'm now convinced I did. So I am going to, let's see. I want 1920 by 1080. I'm going to make this, and I'm thinking I'm going to make it with form, right? That's like the thing to do.
Form is the thing to do. In the meantime, I'm working on, let's see what we have so far in the chat. We've got I'm Back Boys, Tom Holland, and that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. A long time. I'm the real Spider-Man. Let's see. 3 Spider-Man movies wasn't good enough. Now I got to be in Tom's movie too. Look at us, not me. I don't know what this other word is. Anyway. Okay, it is. We have, I think, confirmation from the chat that this is not Sanskrit, because I'm an idiot. But
you worried me, man. I was like, you pulling out actual. God. All right.
Right now, I kind of like the. Let's see. I like several of these. Chat. Do you have any favorites among what's been suggested so far?
Who could be the voice of the chat?
All right.
If only we had someone who could speak for them on their behalf.
Yes. And then in the meantime, on my After Effects screen, what I'm doing is I got, from Sketchfab, I grabbed this little alley 3D model, and then I just kind of took the the top section of the bricks, and I'm just multiplying them out a bunch of times in here because I want some kind of wall that he's climbing up, but something that I have a little bit more control over, so I can either turn it into a loop or just make it an extraordinarily long wall. Nice. So this is all unnecessary work because this clip exists already. It's just not very long. So I want to be able to make a longer loop out of it. So I'm hoping that if I am able to, keyframe, I'll actually keyframe the Y anchor point. So that'll be a really straightforward way to rotate this to exactly an angle that I need, and then to start doing something like this. So the basic idea is you get something like this. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's so real. It's almost as good as the Spider-Man 1's effects. Let's see, which are actually really, really good. Let's see. Still too fast. Okay, he's climbing slower than I thought.
It's in the winter. It's icy. He's just slipping around a lot.
Yeah.
He is. And I have the angle wrong, obviously. So the angle has got to be more like. This is useless, by the way, unless you decide to crawl on a treadmill in front of a green screen to make yourself a little plate like this.
My favorite chat suggestion is to make him say, "Audio jungle."
That's good.
Audio jungle. Oh man.
Seth, if you have time, the chat's wondering what on earth you're doing.
What on earth I'm doing? I use Trapcode Form to make a. So hold on, let me. I'm right now making a sprite for Trapcode Form. Using all these glyphs that I made. I'm gonna make it maybe like I'm gonna say 100 by 100. No, although maybe I could probably go bigger than that. Let's do 200 by 200. Maybe even bigger. Yeah, that's good. So I've got this artwork. I'm gonna fit to comp width. So I've got this glyph here, and I'm going to use that as a sprite so that these. I've got this form sphere that I made. That is basically. It's a bunch of particles. Oh, come on! There we go.
I realized that I'm doing nothing that is useful to anybody to see. So no one needs this. So let me jump to recording something for him and getting it in here. So let's see. We could say it's Friday. Gotta watch VFX and chill. Just keep climbing. That's pretty fun. Audio jungle. Oh, Tom, I'm coming for you. That's pretty funny too. All right.
But I've got this sphere. I made a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ash.
I'm just going to pull up Audition in the meantime and record a little thing.
Record that little thing. Anyway, I've got this sphere. I made it one layer. So usually this is like, or not one layer, but this. I made it one particle high. So normally the sphere would come in like this. But by setting the particles in Y to 1, it just makes it a ring. So
that's clever.
Now I can ignore this call from Spam Risk, my old friend Spam Risk. I'm going to say, so for now I've got the sprite. I'm going to actually, it's only one of the glyphs right now, but I'm going to go into form, go to the particle part, and set it to sprites. And under texture, I will pick sprite. And now, if I turn up, you'll see I have a ring of some of these glyphs. Let me bring a camera in so I can fly it around and you can see what all I'm doing.
Ooh, love that.
So I've got a ring of glyphs. So what I need to do is I need to make these glyphs like diversified. So I'm just going to go into the sprite pre-comp and I'm going to drop all the rest of these in. And then I'm going to do kind of some manual work here that's not super fun. What about you, Hash?
All right, so I'm going to record one of these lines. I'm just looking through to try to decide what's my favorite. I like him coming after Tom Holland. That's kind of fun. So how about, let's see, what was it? Tom, I'm coming for you. Let's try that. All right. What does Tobey Maguire sound like? Everyone as Peter Parker does that.
Mildly whiny.
Mildly, like their voice is always kind of. You're talking like almost the like voice cracky from The Simpsons teen, but then you pull it back a little bit. So what's he gonna say? It's time to kick gum and chew. Oh, I can't do that one. Let's see. We're gonna.
You almost said it.
Let's try. I almost did.
Some random stranger in the chat named Darby says, "Dang, Form and sprites again." Dang,
Darby. I'm sorry, we're boring for you now.
All right, let's see. All right, let's try. I'm just going to record. Need to call it a thing, whatever. Hey, Tom, you think you can just be Spiderman anytime you want? I'm coming for you. I don't know.
That was kind of your Tom voice you used in the promo.
That was my Tom. I only have one.
Doesn't Toby have a little more of like something with his lips that he does as well? That's not even a good impression. That's just hi.
What does he do? Tom, you think you can just walk into the world of Spiderman? Well, I'm coming for you.
And
I'm climbing up this wall, and then I'm going to punch you in the face.
And I'm old. I actually like you breaking character.
Hey, come back.
Well, Blake suggests I'm too old for this stuff, but Blake uses a naughty
I'm getting
word.
too old as Peter Parker. Then you'll have to oldify him too. You're never going to collapse that portal today.
I know. I'm never going to get out of this.
Look at that. This is like some weird mid-90s, like in the movie where like Michael Douglas, his wife who's cheating on him with an artist in Midtown Manhattan, they go to some nightclub and this is being projected on the walls over and over. That's what this is.
That is what this is. All right, let's just try.
I think I'm...
All right, so the studio thinks I'm too old for this? Well, I'm coming for your job, Tom. I'm coming for it. That's going to be weird. Let's try this. All right. Well, I'm just going to use this audio clip because I don't... We're there. So, yeah, you get an audio file in whatever form. Let's call this Bad Impression. And, where did I save that to? I don't know where I saved it to. All right, so I'm going to go to a Google Colab site. Now, I know dangerously little about what I'm about to explain, except that I have been able to pull it off. So, this is a Google Colab file. Or website.
That looks like the exact same thing as what's on my screen, to be honest.
It does. A bunch of gobbledygook that probably
is Sanskrit.
So it's going to run this code right here on my on some files I'm going to give to it, and I promise it all makes sense. But basically, to explain. If you are all familiar with GitHub, they have basically a collection of things that people have programmed. Some of them happen to include machine learning algorithms that are open source and can have things run on them. So my stupid version is that I'll see one of them covered on 2-minute papers, which if you don't watch that YouTube channel, you absolutely should. They'll occasionally demonstrate some really like easy technology that exists, and specifically this one is called Wav2Lip. Let me see if I can find their original site. So the original is by let's see. Oh, I've never tried to pronounce this before. Rudraba.
Doing great. Keep going. You're doing great.
Mukhabbaye. I don't know. Oh man. From Hyderabad, and he created this, which basically allows you to take one piece of footage and then use a WAV file, and that WAV file will try to overwrite the main talking face that it finds using AI. So it's kind of wild, but what I need to do is I don't entirely understand how to run his GitHub model, but I do understand a little bit more when someone wraps a GitHub file in a Google Colab doc in a little bit more of a straightforward way. So I'll share this link with people. Now, anything that I'm just a disclaimer, anything you say, any place that you send information online and then receive information back, please be mindful. I make no, I don't know what I'm doing, and I would not be I'm not.
All of Hashi's life is on the internet for free.
To go here.
You can download any of his personal information you want. You just have to find basically the most recent research paper that's been published, and it's there.
Yes. So we're going to go to, look at this, secure, oh no, see? Let's see, I don't know what is being, let's see, where are, Yes. All right, Seth, you take it for a second. I'm stuck in a
I
loop.
am just.
I'm actually stuck in a loop because of Outlook is doing something in the
weird.
background. Why Outlook?
Well, I am just.
All
I'm trying to make this look like it does in the thing, and a couple things that I'm running up against. One is like naturally my computer. I've said before, I'm waiting on Apple to do a couple things before I get a new computer. In the meantime,
but what's cool is that you just have one in After Effects layer, and you're creating. You get to play with these sprites and arrange them in a real 3D space and everything. So that's really
this
unique.
could come out very, very cool. I actually think.
I love when something is actually 3D.
I know, right? It's the best.
All right. So let me jump over to After Effects real quick. I'm going to make this little loop. It's so dumb that that I replaced the the background of this clip, which already has a perfectly good background. It's just not long enough. So I need something that's a little bit longer. Is all, everyone. So let's go to our element settings real quick in here, and I'm going to try particle repeating this a little bit. I can never entirely remember how I do this. The particle replicator, let's do 3 of them in a 3D grid, and then just widen it out, right? There we go. Yeah, so I'm just going to duplicate that wall like this until it's sort of filling up the whole space, and let me make sure. Looks like I need a little bit more. Let's do 4 of them. Let's do 4, 1, 1, and...
I vote 4.5 of them, Hashi.
4.5 of them. Oh, man. You're always right.
He is. Michael.
All right, so it's just going to look like that in the background. It doesn't matter. Anyway, if you had a fun clip of an actor doing something like this, oh, you know what? I can't resist. I want to add a shadow to him and stuff. I
love that this is not the thing that you.
This isn't even the thing
trailer.
I'm doing. This is why it's so fun to work with me, because they'll be like, "Can you get me this?" And I'll be like, "Absolutely. I will definitely not get distracted doing this." Yes. All right. So I'm using VFX Shadow, which allows you to take a layer and then kind of project a shadow under it. This is the most kind of challenging angle you could have for this specific kind of effect, but I'm going to see if a blurred out version of this can look like a contact shadow, enough like a contact shadow.
That looks better than I expected it to.
Yeah, because this is more designed for like you have a person walking and like a person on a green screen and you want them to have a cast shadow behind them. It's not really designed for this like 3D interactive thing. But I do think that if I apply shadow like this to this layer, I'm going to actually duplicate the layer and then turn off shadow. And then on this copy that's below it, I'm going to go to shadow. I'm going to go to the bottom here where I will say, do the shadow only, like that. So now I have one layer that is just, let me put this on, just this. And now, since I have a layer that is just that, I can do some other ridiculous things. Like I can add a mesh warp to this. So we'll add a mesh warp. I'll set the rows and columns to 1 by 1 because that's really simple. Then I'll grab this bottom corner and I'm just going to pull it up a little bit. And now it's not bad. It's honestly not. We're forgiving. Like there's a lot of stuff going wrong with it, but
I thought you were going to say there's a lot of forgiveness going on here, which
I was going to say
forgiveness,
but it's really not. So let me turn up the opacity of the shadow. Let me turn up the softness of the shadow, because the softness is really what's going to forgive a lot of it.
Only softness forgives.
Something like
Nicholas
that.
Winding reference. Nope.
I mean, yeah. Look at the light on Toby's face. It's not a harsh light. Nice soft shadows are more realistic.
Very soft. All right. So whatever. This is all silly, and it's just so I can you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to crop it into a square so it'll post well on Instagram because I don't want to deal with that section that doesn't have footage.
See, and that's what real visual effects artists do. They just, if they don't like how something looks, they crop it out. They change the aspect ratio of just that shot.
You tell the director, no.
You say this part's going to be square.
I mean, that's basically why Zack Snyder made his cut of the Justice League square.
The sides weren't done. You know what? They hadn't done the sides yet.
Sides aren't. I don't have time to get these sides done.
Yeah. All right. That was the thing. That's the, the Snyder Cut sat there without the sides done for years until finally they're like, you know what, let's just crop them. Just crop them. Oh, and fill it with blood. Needless, inexplicable amounts of let's make it R-rated because kids don't watch Justice League. Now I'm on a soapbox. Here I am working on my glyphs. So I made this thing. Before I start doing compositing and glowing and stuff, I feel like this is a decent base. No? Yeah?
That's a decent base. I like the little moving energy line in the middle. It looks good.
Thanks.
Glyphs look glyphy.
I feel like... Hang on. This happens sometimes. Guys, do you know what? That looks... Do you remember, was it the Carnage episode? This is the quietest our show has ever been. Are you guys alive?
No, we're just staring at Tom Holland.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That does it. Our Carnage episode, was it the tongue? What was the thing we looked at and we were like, that's 2D and puppeted?
Oh, yeah. It was Carnage's tongue in the trailer. It looked like a 2D element was just sort of vaguely tracked into the shot and animated with the puppet pin tools.
And we talked about how that's totally okay, one, for a final product, but also for, especially for a trailer. That's common for like in trailer shots. You got to get a shot out the door just to go in the trailer and it gets juiced up or whatever the term would be later on. I think that's happening here.
Do you think that's not a real 3D?
At least the top one. Look at the top one. The way that it's wiggling, it looks like it could easily just be a 2D layer with some puppet pins on it with some wiggle on them.
On the bottom one could be the same, just scrolling the texture along it. What is that, a fractal noise?
That totally is, and the noise isn't necessarily moving with it, so it's just moving through the noise. And... Okay, look, I showed you how to build it in Form. Great. But I think I just found an easier way to do this. So, new composition. What if I was like, it's going to be 200 by 200? And then I'm going to crop it again. Let's see. I need to build the thing first. Hash, how you doing? Oh, you're muted, Hash. I can't even hear you. Have you been talking that whole time?
Have I been completely silent over here?
Yeah, that's why I said it was so quiet.
You guys.
I gotta know. I gotta know everything you said.
All right. I don't know when I started being muted. Did you guys hear me talk about the shadows?
We talked about soft shadows on the face and...
Okay, that was the last, and then I was throwing it to media queue. Oh, that's probably why. Zoom probably is this. Control M probably muted whatever my thing instead of sending it to the media queue.
That happened last week, right?
Classic Hashi. Classic Hashi. Yes, it did. And it was on and off throughout the whole thing. All right, so here on screen, I think, is my Toby climbing loop.
Ain't bad.
Kind of fun. So my goal of obviously of creating something like this would be so I could control the background and actually turn it into a proper working loop. But that's all stupid just because many social platforms love looping videos, and that's why I would do that. So now that I have this MP4 of that, and I did an MP4 because it's small and easy to send via the interwebs, and a WAV file, I'm going to reopen this Wav2Lip Demo Colab. So I think that if you search that, you'll be able to find this. And now let me walk you through how it works. So let's see. All right. So a collab file basically tries to use your GPU to run somebody else's code. So in this case, I want to drag over that terrible impression thing that I did. And I'm going to say I'm uploading it to this, which will be recycled right after. And you might be able to see very tiny on my screen, I've dragged the wave file into here. And now all I have to do is I go to this little play button to run the code that is here. I'm going to say play, and it's going to give me a nice warning, which I share with I stand with Google saying that it wasn't authored by them, but I'm going to run it anyway. So nothing horrible has happened to me yet, but still. So it's going to run this, and then it's going to, let me see. I decided to, I did the show code thing. Normally this looks a lot smaller, but you'll see that it says, now what file do you want to apply this wave file to? And so I'm going to say, I'm going to choose and upload my render of that little blank climbing video like this. So it's going to upload that in the meantime. And once that's done, those are the only steps that it needs from you. It's going to be thinking in the background, trying to utilize some of my GPU to apply that wave file to this MP4. It's doing all the rest using machine learning, which is cool. So the more visually recognizable and right in the center of frame the face is, the better this will work. And the more clearly enunciated your words are, the better it'll work, because it'll also do things like if there was music in the background, that might get thrown in there too. And so it'll look like they're mouthing the music to the scene or whatever. So it's weird. It's, give the machines time to take over. They're working on it. So you'll know it's working because your screen looks like you do really cool things. See, like there's some TensorFlow is running there in the background. It's requiring all of the requirements to run its trained model of facial recognition and its trained model of recreating a mouth shape from other things. It's running a bunch of other work that people have done without you having to do all the pre-work on something, which is usually required for any kind of machine learning, deep fakery. The machines need to learn. They need good education to do cool things.
The machines learn.
If they were,
let them.
Yes, let them.
In the meantime, when I said that, it was like, it felt like it was a joke. Let the children live. What is that? This is the day where Seth quotes things before knowing.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Wonderful. Let me know if you're doing something fun in the meantime while that bakes, and if not, I can
show
some
he's currently alt dragging, Hashi. He is alt dragging things.
Well, I'm alt dragging. I did do something. This is one of those things where, last week we talked with Darby about how you could take an extended period of time to set it all up to do something. Not the right way. Okay, look, I made a kind of complex little rig involving some expressions. I set this up to where this top layer right here has a slider for offset where I can automatically offset the ones underneath it. And I can change the scale of each of them that way. And if I need more of them, I can just duplicate any of the ones down here, not the top one, but any ones down here, and they'll automatically add an offset the ones below it and underneath it.
Look at that. Look at the big brain on Seth.
I try to keep it exposed at all times for all of you. Let's see.
I love this. Let's see. Oh, you know what I didn't do?
I don't.
You forgot a semicolon in all that code?
Yeah, no, honestly, it's about that stupid. Okay. For anyone who's just joining us, I'm redoing something that I just messed up, which is letting a machine try to apply lip sync to something for you. So let me just disconnect from this all, and then reconnect. Terminate. All right.
Terminate.
I don't know where that came from, but I liked it.
All right. So I'm quickly redoing this because I was supposed to drag over my wave file of this bad impression thing right here, but then I was also supposed to let this thing know what to use. Let me see here. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm doing.
None of us do.
I've been so valuable to this experience.
Hashi, I can't imagine a world where people are like, I really wish there was less Hashi and more Seth going on this show. So don't you worry, your presence.
Well, the good thing is nobody has to choose since we have the split screen.
Now
we can have one of everything.
That is true.
Someone did say that they have their right eye on Hashi and a left eye on Seth, and they'd really like you to swap which side of the screen y'all are on because it's getting difficult for them to be cross-eyed
That has to be very, very difficult.
That is. All right. So manage sessions, terminate other sessions. All right. So, you know what? I'm going to again share the link that I am on, which is a Google Colab file where you can do this. You drag in a wave file. Oh, I guess you don't drag it in. You go to the folders and then you say, can you not drag it in?
Well, real quick, I'm going to do something unthinkable. I'm going to make a shape layer. Darby, look what you did to me. I drew a line, and I'm just going to leave it.
Seth, now the world. You're going to leave it?
Yeah, like an animal.
So what I'm going to do, and this is what I forgot to do last time, I need to type in the name of that wave file, which was bad impression .wave. Make sure that you match the cases and everything. And for this reason, I almost always name this like test. So you can say that. And then when I press play, you can see that I have not pressed the show code button. And so it looks a lot more, it's more, front facing. I'll just press play, and then I'm going to say run anyway. And now it will request, what file would you like to apply that wave file to? I'm going to say I want you to apply it to that Tobey Maguire climbing thing. And now it's going to be thinking about this in the background. All right, everyone, that's how that works. This particular thing is very simple. And then speaking of very simple, let me show you something that I kind of got into once I saw that teaser. I was excited about the idea of breaking a room apart, but I knew that, like simulations and destruction and, in Cinema 4D are all very awesome and could be properly 3D and lit and all of those fun things. But I really wanted to figure out the most simple way that I could go about doing this. And so what I came up with was going to Cinema and finding this little cute model of rock.
Oh, hi, Rock.
I think that this rock is from, let me see. I can show you the whole process step by step. I'm in an older version of Cinema 4D for a moment because I want to run something called the Sketchfab importer, which is usually updating, but it's a little bit behind where Cinema is right now. So when I go into here, I think that I searched for something like rock, let's just say 17, I think is what I searched for.
Rock 17, here live. VFX and Chill live on Rock 17
you don't want,
in the morning. Thank you very much.
And so here, made by Kles Geisen, is this beautiful model of a rock. It's nice, it's detailed, it's got a good poly count and everything like that. And so I took all of that great information and just rendered a really small turnaround. I actually took the geometry and kind of spread out a couple, more like a shattered piece of rock. So y'all get that, basically. And then I did something really fun, which was just let's start with a whole new project, just so we can see this plainly. I'm going to create a new composition that is HD and 24 frames per second because I'm not a psychopath. And then I'm going to create a new solid. I'm using keyboard shortcuts for anything now. All right, layer, new solid. We'll create that right there. And you know what? I didn't even think about it. I could totally be working in a 960 by whatever comp. I'm going to do that. Whatever, never mind. I'll run this at half since I'm half the screen right now. So we got a black solid here, and to this I'm just going to apply a gradient ramp. We'll do a radial ramp like this, boop, and then we'll swap the colors, and then we'll turn that first color to some kind of pale cyan-y color like that. I'll
some
stretch
kind
out.
of pale cyan color. And I tried to do it, the song, but it doesn't fit. Sorry.
I liked it.
Thanks.
Now, Seth, I see you using some puppet pins to make that shape, but some of the chat suggested that instead of using that to get that curve, you could just use CC cylinder to get a nice cylindrical curve, like I did on my presentation at the 3D motion show a couple weeks back, where I was making that background behind them. And
Wait, so did the chat really say this, Michael, or is this about you?
No, I added that last part.
Michael, do you
Yes.
think that I heard anything you just said and wasn't completely distracted by the much more adorable voice and face present in your call?
Say hi.
Hello there.
You can't.
Hello.
DJ's trying to wave at you, but his arm is covered in green goop, so
Whoa.
it's being.
Incredible.
Ooh.
That's my favorite effect we've done on this show.
I know.
Wait, let's see. Oh wait, if they're there, here. I'll be in
look.
character.
Look, it's Spider-Man.
What's he dressed like?
It's me, the real Spider-Man.
Oh,
The real
and you know
Spider-Man.
If
We
only
also
had-
have the other real
if only I had the
Spider-Man.
real
Say hi to our
Spider-Man.
friend, Tom, the real
Hi, Tom.
Spider-Man.
This one has a mouth. I didn't.
Man, Tom, does yours have a mouth, Tom? It does? Oh, it does? We didn't know that. How did we not know this? They just erase it in
Man.
post? Oh, what happened, Tom? You jumped. Anyway. Well,
I think Marvel has muted him on that end. It's too big
probably
of
smart. Probably very smart.
a risk factor there. All right. So back here on my little gradient ramp, I've added a little wiggle expression to the end of the ramp. So it stays centered, but watch this. It makes it like a little flickering, just a bit of flicker. I like that. And then I'm going to, just to make it a little bit more colorful, let's add some fractal noise. Let's add some fractal noise on top of it. Let us grab, under the transform settings, I'm going to check this perspective offset, which, Michael, did you cover this the other day too? Perspective offset, look at this. It does this
that was
tricky
in my
kind of
Okay,
thing.
hang on. So, wait. Michael, can you actually repeat what you were saying? Because I do want to hear it, because I'm sorry, I did miss it because of your adorable child.
Oh, I was saying they were just suggesting using CC cylinder to get that curve behind his head, and I used that to get the background to be kind of curved, like the people were inside their love machine, this love matchmaking machine. And so you can use CC cylinder instead of to only render the inside, so you get just a curved wall back there.
That is an excellent point.
But if you want it to wiggle around, you're gonna need puppet pins anyway.
Exactly.
So you might as well use.
Because I'm trying to get. I mean, look at this. Like, I feel like what they've got going on there feels very much like some puppet pin. Like, at least I know I can achieve that with some puppet pins on specific points wiggling around. Although I'm sure they did it some other way. But you're right. I could have used cylinder. The other thing about CC cylinder is I don't like that it outputs. It always outputs it at like a weird, like a smaller resolution than I want it to be, unless I make that file that it's on like bigger. Even though I know, I guess the curve you're doing on the inside wouldn't be that big.
Right. Now, if you see my presentation, and you kind of, like, I didn't mention it in my presentation, but if you glance, you'll see that the bounds of my CC cylinder layer are beyond the bounds of the composition for just that reason. In order for the cylinder to be kind of the way you want it, it works that way. And yes, to answer Hashi's question, I did use the perspective offset to make that background move it looked like 5 layers of particles. I used five layers of complexity, because all fractal noise is different layers of fractal noise Sure, I'm chatting and live on the internet right now. So 5 layers of noise, or 6 layers of noise, or however many.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I am going to simulate right here, which is just a gradient ramp in the background because I need some kind of a gradient ramp, and the fractal noise on top. I set its blending mode to overlay. I set its opacity down all the way down to 9, and then under the scaling, I kind of turned up the X width a little bit, so they're a little bit wider, like clouds, like that or something. And once that was there, I also added an expression to the offset turbulence, which was, it has to be a 2-parameter expression. So in the X, I said I want it to be time times like 2,900 pixels per second, and then by 0. And now when I play this back, I have this slightly flickery, slightly cloudy background that's just better than using a blank background. So now I'm going to load in that little rendered sprite that I had, which is, what's it called? Chunky Rock.
Oh, Chunky Rock.
I'll share this with y'all. You can have a copy of my Chunky Rock here. All right, so it's just this little looping thing, and I'm going to drag it here and place it under this solid. So it's all the way down there, all by itself. And I'm going to hide it. Now I'm going to add another solid, and we'll call this one, let's just label them just so we know what I'm working with here. So this is the grad, and I'm going to call this one the form. Because in this, I'm going to...
Hashi, the chat is wondering what the green icons are on your folders in your computer.
Oh, right over here. I thought they were yellow. Now I know that they're green. This is the amazing normalize track extension, which is available for free at Workbench TV.
Go watch our Ghostbusters Sky Butthole episode, Sky Donut episode, and you'll see Hashi explains them thoroughly.
I mean, those are yellow, so I don't think that's what they're talking about. But those are very handy. You should look at them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, are there other green buttons somewhere?
I think they just mean the dots on the folders in your Explorer window.
What? Over here? Oh, when I'm looking through files. Oh, yeah, those are the Dropbox overlay to assure that those are synced with the with my cloud, with my Dropbox.
It's just a Dropbox
cloud.
Badge, guys. Calm down.
Just a
Calm
Dropbox
down.
Badge. All right. So I think that we can run through these next steps pretty quickly. The only restriction is that I'm working with half the real estate I'm used to here. So I've added an instance of form. I'm going to go to the base form, and I'm going to switch this to a layered sphere. Then I'm going to reduce the number of particles because I don't need that many until they're making a big old mess, kind of like this. And then I'm going to go to the particle, and I'm going to choose a sprite. In fact, yeah, I'll just go with choosing a sprite. And then here under the texture settings, I will select my chunky rock. And I'll leave it right there on random loop. So it doesn't look all that impressive yet. But watch this business. Let's scale up these particles like this. Just going to make them ginormous. And then for even some better performance, I'm going to go down to the bottom of form here and enable some GPU acceleration on the way this is being rendered. So now I'm using my GPU to basically render this, what looks like a pretty cool 3D set of, let's add a camera, Control-Shift-C. I hope that doesn't like mute Seth or something. And then I've added a camera, so watch this. So now this is a 3D array of what looks like stones, but it's really just that chunky rock.
Chunky rock.
In form. And now, check this out. I can go to my disperse and twist settings and then disperse these. And as I disperse them, you get this really like explosive kind of feel, which is really wonderful. So if I go to the size random and turn that up so I have big rocks, small rocks, every kind of rock like this, you get this really cool set of debris. And if I go to I'm going to change my sphere to only have 2 layers maybe. I don't know if I need all of that stuff. And now, watch this. If I did something like I can create a null that is my locator for this form system, I could go into here and reveal its rotation properties and do something like have it, over the course of this time, start spinning around.
Nice.
So now, as this spins around, like these are 2D sprites, but because of how they're set up, it's really cool that you get this effect. I'm just going to make it one sphere layer, and I'm going to turn down the amount of disperse. So yeah, there. So now it'll be nice and tight like that. And let me move my camera in a little bit closer. So it's sort of like we're in the middle of this action. And then we'll add some keyframes to the size of the actual form system, which will actually be basically me scaling. Look at this. I just scale this null and look at this. Love that.
Look at that.
So we'll start it small, add a keyframe there, and then maybe, 2 seconds in, it will burst out to the a size that basically puts us almost in the action. I'm going to move the camera a little bit farther forward. And now, look at this. Now we have this cool... Try to make that a little bit bigger so you can see. Whoops. Basically, the surrounding debris, where if I were to nest like a room full of, the little like platform they're standing on as their room bursts apart, I think that I'm starting to approximate that. Seth, I don't want to keep hold court here for too long.
No. I mean, you're doing the more complex stuff.
But you are the one in costume, so you should get to talk as much as you want while you're wearing your
Yeah, and you
Spiderman
are the one
mask.
doing much more complex work, whereas I am right now trying to tone this down to be a little less crazy.
Seth, are you using Ecto again?
Yeah, look, I honestly was like, you know what? It might be the simplest solution. And right so far, it kind of is. That looks like... Do you remember the Schwarzenegger film End of Days? That's what this reminds me of.
Wow, End of Days.
That's our commentary on End of Days.
Well, my only commentary on End of Days is that, like, on the Universal Studios tour, they'll say, "Hey, they filmed, the one in front of that building is that one from End of Days." And I was like, big flex.
Big flex.
Everyone.
The thing I love is you go on the Universal, not Universal, it's on the Paramount lot. Fun fact, everybody, if you go on the Paramount lot and you get to walk around, or you get to see I don't know if they do a tour. I'm sure they do a tour. I just was there with a friend who worked there.
Not for common people.
Not for just boring old townsfolk. So yeah, there's a portion in the Paramount backlot where there are two doors, identical doors. One is significantly smaller than the other one, and that was apparently supposedly built for the film Night and Day with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz, two actors of significant height difference, and they built it so they could film Tom Cruise coming through one door and Cameron Diaz coming through the other, and then cut them together and seem as if they are the same door, and that there's not a massive height difference.
Had to Hobbit them.
Yeah.
They had to Lord of the Rings. I love that.
It's my favorite kind of filmmaking, is making Tom Cruise look bigger. That sounds like a bash on Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise, please come on our show, please. I mean, look, just ask our friend Tom Holland. Tom, do you love being on the show? Would you recommend it to other Toms? Oh, you got to drink that water. That's cool. Like green water, apparently. Tom, would you come on the show?
I don't know.
He nodded. Okay.
Oh, you would. Okay.
Wonderful. All right.
I feel validated.
Well, see you, Tom. Back to what people really want.
All right. Let me show you something really fun. So first of all, I mean, this is crazy fun. I love this, that you can just kind of do that. But watch this. I'm going to add a new light. I'm just going to make this little point light, and I'm going to make it kind of blue-leaning light. Like that. And it'll be a point light. It'll be right in the center, and I'm going to say, okay. Actually, it won't be right in the center. It'll be off to the side, but I'll zero it out to be in the center of my area here. And actually, to center it, it would actually be 960 by 540 by 0. I know so much. All right, so we got our light right in the middle there. And if I go to my form settings over here, and then go to shading, I can say shading on. And look at this. if I turn up the nominal distance of how far that light affects things, I now, okay, these colors all don't match or anything, but look at the effect I get. I get the effect of this cool, bright center to this debris pile as everything flies around. It even it even falls off as they get farther away from camera. And then if I wanted to, I could do things like I'll add another light over here that's maybe just, more just like a dull gray spotlight. That seems fine. And that'll kind of do a light fill on these other rocks. Let me turn the light, this direction a little bit more. I'll just adjust its anchor point there. Oh, did I make, no, this is the spotlight. Adjust its lighting to be like that. Maybe I'll turn up its intensity a bit so you get some of the cool detail on this rock. And then, oh, maybe that's too much. That's too much. I want just a little bit. And I could even add something like an ambient light. Let's add some ambient, again, just, whatever the colors of your scene are, you can add a subtle ambient light that's toward the darks, whatever you're tuning the darks toward, and get kind of a cool effect. So, you know what? I don't like this spotlight at all. I would rather just turn that off, turn up my ambient light a little bit, so all of these front rocks have a teeny bit of detail if you're zoomed in. I'm trying to keep it subtle, but over the web, I don't know how this works. So Form just allows these sprites to totally intersect. And so that's why I think of this as a large sheet. You could get clipping, but I'm actually not worried about it in this amount of space because it's this nicely self-contained, and now that it's lit, looks pretty cool. And in fact, I'm going to add, this was the effect that I was really excited to try out. So you could also probably add, have the, where did I scatter things from? I could do fun things like this. Like, look at this. You can twist them opposite directions. I could be keying just through some kind of a thing like that. I'm just going to add manual keyframes for the whole system to just be doing a little bit of twisting the whole time. So you get kind of this, like, look at that. Now the overwhelming sense is that the system is spinning to the...
That's awesome.
So what I like about this is that this is truly just lightweight, and it's all just this chunky sprite doing its own thing.
I love letting chunky sprite do its own thing. So look at this. I feel like it's a pretty good match, don't you think? Mine's on top. Theirs is on the bottom. What else could I do?
That's great. That looks lovely. We're an hour in and have covered some cool things. Wait, I'd forgotten about that. In the background, everyone, if you're just joining us, I threw some AI this clip. In real time, this actually probably took about 6 minutes for it to do. It takes like 5 or what, minutes to do something. And let me see if I can share sound. Where are my Zoomy, Skypey, control-y thingies that allow me to share sound? I truly don't know how. Let's see.
Again, we can just do the voices.
Let's see. I might... audio and video settings for my webcam, for my...
If you stop sharing your screen and then start again.
I think I do need to stop sharing and start again. Yeah, let's do that.
Which, don't worry, it'll just freeze on this end. It shouldn't do
share
anything.
Screen and share the computer screen.
I do love that you are still Spiderman.
I like that too.
I gotta fix something.
All right, I'm gonna zoom in and just play it in the browser here. But let's see how this turned out, everyone. All right, so the studio thinks I'm too old for this. Well, I'm coming for your job, Tom. I'm coming for it. All right, so the studio thinks... Wow. So could you hear that, audience? Yeah. Could you hear that?
I could.
So I'm too old for this. Well, I'm coming for your job, Tom. I'm coming for it. All right, so the studio thinks I'm too old for this. Well, I'm coming for your job, Tom. I'm coming for it. So and honestly, all you need is an MP4 and a WAV file. You don't need to do all the BS I did with just making this shot look like garbage. It looked fine before. But this is a pretty fun and pretty simple way to definitely not create anything questionable with it's purely for
100%.
purposes.
Hey, real quick, just in case, I know, honestly, yours is the more complex and interesting. I'm just, in case there's one person out there who's like, what's this made of? Because I haven't talked much. I'm sorry, I've been trying to let you talk. I can break down real quick what all is going on in mine. I've got breakdown. So I've got let's turn this stuff off. So first I've got a shape layer. It's just a line in this pre-comp, and then I've got all of these individual glyphs that are lined up out here all the way from left to right. On top of that, I've got an adjustment layer with turbulent noise that is not animated. It's not evolving or anything. It's really, it was just like, I don't know why I picked, it was a way for me to put noise on it without it animating. Because like if you just drop noise like onto like an adjustment layer here, it's going to auto animate the noise across everything. So I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but I did turbulent noise. Then I have a directional blur adjustment layer, but it is set with a track Luma mat above it with an instance of Fractal Noise. And so what that does is it gives me this really splotchy directional blur that looks like parts of it are smeared and parts of it are not, which I felt like was a big part of what was going on in the original effect.
And again, yeah, like we learned with Darby, those like the little imperfection things that you can weave into any kind of graphical display, it really makes
definitely. So then I have another instance of noise on top. I pre-comped it, put an instance of noise on it that's really just to give it splotchy luminance across, but it's a larger scaled noise. So like there's larger patches of darkness and light there just to give it a little more inconsistency. I have a motion tile on here that will actually make it spin, but this top one isn't spinning, so I just have that saved for when I do a spinning one in a second. But then I have the puppet tool applied after these things, and what's cool is I can turn the motion tile on. You'll see it tiles before the puppet pins. And little tip: some people might use the puppet tool and be like. And it'll come out looking like this, like all, especially like, a complex image like that. You just got to turn up this little expansion setting. Just crank it up until something breaks. And
also there's a checkbox there that it just renders the puppet and will delete.
On transparent?
What does it say? I don't remember. On the bottom there, on transparent, I think that will leave behind. You still want to turn up the expansion to get all of the aliased bits and the glow and stuff. But if you uncheck that, then in the event like it's ruining your image to have these dead pixel kind of bits left over,
that's great to know.
Turn them off.
Awesome. So then let me get back here. So there's that. Turn the motion tile off, and then that pre-comp is sitting in here, and I have applied a compound blur referencing this noise, which is just actually a scaled down version of the noise I'm using for the luminance noise stuff in the pre-comp. So there's a compound blur that it just applies a splotchy blur on top of the splotchy directional blur. So there's it's almost like there's some heat blur kind of happening. I know we have a heat blur plugin, but I've lately liked doing this compound blur thing. And then on top, of it is Ecto, which is literally just
Ecto.
I know,
surprise,
but I just did the
surprise.
flames preset. Went in here and turned down the post glow to 0 and set the overall glow intensity to 0.5. I haven't done any colorization or anything like that, but what I've ended up with is shockingly close to what was there. So now I've got to add some sparks, and then I'm going to duplicate the ring.
And maybe a kiss of optical glow.
Yeah, I didn't even need optical glow. Nothing.
You don't
I
like
think
that's
a little
wild.
touch would, because yours is still duller
Hey, you
than
can
theirs.
go
I
to
think
hell,
a little touch
Michael.
of
All
Optical
right,
Glow
you can
will
go to
make it
hell.
match theirs.
Mine's a little duller. You're a little duller than nothing. You're not. You're an extremely interesting person and a wonderful person. Please don't
Please
leave
don't
us.
leave us. So over on my screen, all I've done is I basically went down. I added a wiggle to the point of interest of the camera, just to add a little bit of a kind of camera shake throughout, make us feel intense. There are a lot of ways that you can add wiggle and rumble to your shot. One of the easiest ways, in case you've already shot the footage, is to use Universe Camera Shake, which has a million settings. And what's nice about those shakes is if you're thinking about a camera shake, it's actually good to build it in a more complex way, so it actually shakes the way a real camera would. Like, you consider, like, what is the actual spot from which the camera would be shaking in that situation? Is it on an arm that's generally holding still and wobbling, or is it, mounted to a thing where the whole base would be rotating? Is it rotating nodally? All those fun things. I also went to under the shading settings in Form and enabled shadowlets, and I just sampled a dark blue color. And if I use a kind of a bright shadowlet instead of a dark shadowlet, it adds the impression of kind of this atmospheric fog between the more densely packed particles, and that's a really cool look. So now that I'm to here, I can't remember how big those sections get, but I might add a second layer to my base
Michael,
form.
you're right. Optical Glow does make it
There,
better. That's without. That's with. You can come back from hell, Michael. I'm sorry I sent you there.
So without doing almost anything, I just added a second layer to this sphere. And now what you should see is, since the disperse level is not high enough that these are intersecting, there's sort of this one outer system here, and then there's sort of an inner system with these tightly packed things like that. And that's pretty cool. I'm excited about this. So now one of the challenges that you'd run into is that obviously I would want to comp something into the middle of this, and it would be nice to be able to figure out how to split this system in half so I can put something here in the middle. So I'm going to spend the next little bit of time doing a cheat for that, which is basically this. I'm going to add since I know that the form system is oriented around this little piece right here, I'm going to use some expressions here. So just for fun, I'm going to create a null object over here that has I'm just going to call it distance. There are several ways to do this, but I'm going to try this and see if it works. Then I'm going to go to expression controls, and I'm going to add just a slider control. And then in this slider control, I'm going to do some things. I'm going to reveal the position of my camera, P there, and I'm going to reveal the distance of my form null, like that, P, position. And then in my distance null that I just created under the slider, actually the slider is what I should have called distance. I'm going to alt-click here to add an expression. And under this expression, I'm going to go to the helpful builder and say vector math. And I'm going to say length from, I want to know the length from the camera's position to the, highlight the point 2 there, and to the form position. And then I'm going to click that. And now this will return a result, which is 915, which is exactly how many pixels away the center of this form system is. And now that I know that number, what's really cool is that in Form, under the visibility settings, I could use that same expression right here. Let me reveal it. So under here, I could say that I want my particles to vanish past this point, like that. And now, if I play this through, you'll see that it is automatically clipping my whole system. You'll see these particles disappear as soon as they hit the point where they should be behind the center. And now I have the front of my system, And then I'm going to make a duplicate of form right there. And you know what? I'll leave this one to be the foreground since that's what I have highlighted already, and I'll rename that FG there. And then under this other form, I'm going to switch this, instead of being the far vanish point, let's turn that back up to default. And then under its visibility settings, I'm going to the near vanish plane, alt-clicking there, and then dragging that to this distance slider. So it should be very obvious what I've done here, and that is split the form layer to have the back of it, the back half rendering there, and the front half rendering here. And now whatever I wanted to do, I could go find something. Let's see, what do we got here? Let me just some random image. Here we go. All right, let's do this. Let's apply some Primac here to it. Auto-define that key, baby. Perfect. And now I'm going to put this layer right here. You know what? It could even be a 3D layer, so it reacts to my camera. And I'll put it right there. Scale it down. And look at this business, everyone. So
beautiful.
A little mask right there. Why not? And, you know, it doesn't. You can. I kind of like that it's reacting to the light. But if you double tap A on any 3D layer, you can tell it to not accept lights like this. Seth does not accept.
I don't accept the concept of light. My body rejects light. I am only darkness.
All right, I'm just going to toner you like that and blend it with a tonered.
Tonered. Tonered is a very funny word to me. I don't know why.
That's tonered.
Oh, I saw there's a question.
It's definitely something from Strong Bad's Teen Girl Squad video.
My wife's voicemail is still me. Like when I first set up her voicemail for her, like years ago, and I said, "Hey, this is Arlie. Please call me back," in my best Teen Girl Squad voice. Like it is still. If you call her, it is still that voice. God. And my son thinks it's horrific. Which is even better reason to have it.
I need to introduce my whole family to
Homestar was like
Homestar
Runner
an updated
universe. Brack. Like it was a very similar voice. Like Brack had the voice that yelled like that, and then Homestar had like "I swung by it," like very similar roots. Their voices, I believe, they're from the same area of the country. I would imagine. Mm-hmm. I'm now just...
And yeah, and I think that it's the design for the Spiderman suit based on
it's 100%. Historically, that's sequentially when they happened in that order. Someone in the chat asked, "Yo, is that the real Spider-Man?" No, actually, this... Hey, Tom,
let's
say hi to the people. Remind them that you're here today with us drinking your green water. Why is that water green? Doesn't make sense. Do you know? Do you know why?
I don't know. I think
you do know why.
It's a British thing or whatever, but
I think it's some of the.
Good
Green
God,
Goblins,
Tom! Have you turned on us?
He's got.
Oh, is it an Easter egg?
It's Ecto Cooler repurposed.
It must be.
He's rolling his eyes.
All right, you know what, Tom Holland? You can go straight. No, you can't. Good God, I almost said it. Tom, stay here. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my
Stay
God.
Here.
Hashi.
This is you.
Hashi is the
yes,
Green
100%. That's and the Green Goblins. I look at the Green Goblins thinking about Halloween. He can't wait for Pumpkin Spice. He's really excited that Pumpkin Spice is back early.
See, now I got to put up you got to film him on a green screen. It's a whole thing. But
the character design for the Green Goblin was before they made superhero movies on green screen.
Yeah, but then they made superhero movies on green screens with green. God, the Guardians of the Galaxy is the one where you're like, guy, wow, we picked all the wrong colors. We've got, yeah.
There's green characters, blue characters, all on the same screen together.
Amazing. You'll see.
Look at me emerging from the rocks. That's incredible. Wait.
Hang on.
How did that happen? Hang on. Let me figure that out. It's not your fault.
See. Oh,
it's not your fault.
So we've got.
Oh, it got smaller.
This cool.
There we go.
This cool system where basically you could, right now we've got Seth in there, but you could put anything in here. Like, for example, Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland standing on a collapsing platform, and this would look really cool.
But for now, it looks like this.
Now, I will say in Trapcode particular, there is an option to set a 3D layer as an obscuration layer, so you only need the one instance of particular. It would be really nice if
wouldn't it be cool
some
if
Trapcode developers are listening, if we could tuck that feature inside of Form, that would be great.
Man, that would be so handy if the developers, the geniuses, could get something like that working, and soon.
Yeah.
And then one other thing you could do here is let's see, on Seth right here, let me duplicate. Let's see, how could I do this? I'm going to create, this is going to be really weird. I'm going to not use it, whatever. Let's add a new solid, and then on this solid, let's use the set matte effect, the Seth matte effect. And I'm going to grab my Form foreground, its effects and masks as the alpha channel. And so now you'll see that basically it's just copying my Form foreground like that. And now that I have that going on, I can do a little bit of a fast box blur on it like this. And then I can then kind of move it over here like this. And then I'll make a duplicate of my Seth layer, but I will use it as the alpha matte, an otherwise invisible alpha matte for this layer. And what that'll give me is this copy of the alpha of the foreground rock layers right here. And if I turn that back on and then tuck this under here, just right above Seth, it's basically that's a cheap drop shadow effect, but with a little bit more control on its matting. So look at that. So I'm using I get to source a different layer with a wider alpha, and then basically cast a shadow of it. And I can offset this shadow as much as I want. Like, I can visually kind of decide how much shadow is on him. And then because it's using that 3D layer as an alpha matte, it's going to cut off at the edges here. So you won't see the drop shadow of all of these things over here. You'll only see them on Seth.
That's excellent.
I had to do this effect in, but with a lot more detail in Mary Poppins Returns. Was very similar.
Oh, this is the same kind of rig you did with the leaves?
Yes, it was there. I was using some obscuration layers, but for 4K quality edges and everything like that, I had to have. I used obscuration layers, but they were some slightly choked in things, and then I had the original pieces of footage with the shadows and interactive lighting kind of cast on them. And then the whole thing goes by so quickly and is so saturated you can't tell anyway. The shadows are really gray. I don't like that.
Are you allowed to talk about the workflow you did on Mary Poppins Returns? Not that I would know, but like, was there anything interesting about? Did they hand over plates to you, or what was that like? So,
to work on it was fun because I specifically got to work on that because I know this amazing After Effects artist Jason Stovall, who he's done incredible work on like any movie or TV series that has some kind of cool After Effects characters or stylized sequence. He's probably touched it. And so I worked with him on the Kung Fu Panda movies, and then he invited me to work on Mary Poppins. They had a couple of scenes they knew were going to use a lot of particles, and he was like, "You like particular? Can you do this?" And I thought that would be a lot of fun. But I wasn't going to be working in person. And this created a complicated chain of Disney security because obviously, as we found out from the Spider-Man teaser this week, if you let people, we can't have nice things. if if people were letting me have clips over a year before the release of the movie from Mary Poppins, I could, I don't know, do whatever with them. So instead of getting the plates, I got roto mats for people and super low res, highly watermarked.
Really? So it was just like it was just outlines of Lin-Manuel Miranda and Emily. I forget her name. The wonderful actress. Emily Blunt. Thank you. It was just like mats of them with watermarks across them.
So I had the mats of them and and some camera movement. And so, yeah, if you imagine, you could sort of, reconstruct, like reverse engineer where everything in your comp would need to be if you had all the alpha mats for everything and the camera move. And the camera move actually didn't translate that well. And so I ended up retracking. I had them render like an albedo pass of the background and then camera tracked that. And that actually worked better. Wow. And so, it was weird to put it together that way.
What did they give you in terms of?
Because I didn't have.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was curious of what they gave you in terms of art files, like how many, like specific different sprites they gave you, or if you were like, how much you were having to create.
So, well, the artists who created these all work at Ken Duncan Studios. Ken Duncan is a very talented, historically a very talented animator, and now he has a studio in Pasadena where they do lots of really cool work. And his crew had done, I think they did all the 2D animation from it. And basically they had dozens of rotating flowers and sprites and leaves and characters and things like that. Like without getting into like what their physical process was, they like if you saw it on screen and it was moving around, they wanted it traditionally animated. And that was a big, it meant a lot of work for a lot of people.
That's awesome. Anyway, Mary Poppins Returns digression.
Yes.
Now that the two of you are pretty close to done on what you've got going on, the chat is wanting to know if either of you is going to do the magical liquid pouring.
Oh.
What is
that's a real easy.
Even though we're at what is supposed to be the end of the show.
Let's see.
So that's I don't have the clip in here, but I have. I can bring it right in here. Let's see. The trailer. So I actually looked at this today because I was like, oh, that's such. They definitely did that in post because why in the world would you want to take the time to reset?
What? Why do I not remember?
It's right at the beginning of this.
Is it in the spellcasting?
Yes, it's right at the beginning of the spellcasting. So he does the cool so he does that. This right there. It's just him pouring liquid, but then he does the really cool, which I could do right here for you right now, which is the particular thing. All right, fine, I'll do it. So, gotta open up QuickTime and film myself real quick. QuickTime player, file new movie recording. And yes.
Disney's weakest security link, but Tom Holland has got the
Let's see.
average. I love
that.
Love it.
Here I am. In front of my green screen.
So,
looking
contractually obligated not to reveal how many spoonfuls of sugar were used.
I look ridiculous. This is like the green screen with my purple Ivy Studios hoodie. I look like Barney and Baby Bop combined into one freakish Joker character. All right, here we go.
Your YouTube sensation Bloppy.
Oh, all right, here we go. Boop.
I'll cut it off there.
There, so let's try this again. Boop, boop. That's what we're doing, right? We're just making that little motion. So I'm going to stop.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to disconnect from my AI system here.
Disconnect from AI. No, Hashi!
Don't worry. It can find me. It can track me anywhere.
Let's see.
In the meantime, I'm going to open up a very silly thing that I did over the weekend, or over the whatever. I don't remember when I did this. I saw this this unfortunate situation in New York that someone had filmed. And it was, let's see, am I on screen? All right. So it was this little situation where this guy's minding his own business when this
it's so funny.
it's this guy showing off comes and literally crashes into this guy. This officer knocks him down. So remarkably filmed, by the way. It's so funny that this moment was captured in this exact. I mean, you couldn't plan that if you wanted to capture that.
So. Oh, like it's the positioning right in front of that iconic building at that intersection. Like everything about it's perfect.
So I saw this and it made me chuckle, and I thought it would be funny if something else was what did that. And so I decided to do a teeny bit of content-aware fill. Kind of worked. Called him up. He was free, which was wonderful. And so I took this, the original little bit here, and let me just play through. So here we have that biker come in. And so what I did was I drew a little garbage mat, around the biker as he came in like this, and knocks that poor officer over, and used content-aware fill to try to generate something to fill in that section. And I will say, like, it did a pretty decent job. I mean, look at that. Not bad. It's a little wonky here. And so I ended up having to do some replace, put a little solid there to sort of erase a little bit of stuff that appeared there. And then I also grabbed the foreground, like some characters are kind of walking by in the foreground during this part. Let me see if I can find them. Where are they? Let's see. So that was. Let me turn them on. Yeah. So I just did a very quick Rotobrush 2 version of all the people in front of this situation. And that gave me a great plate to work with. So I had basically this simple, straightforward plate of the. Whoops. Oh. I need to turn that back to normal. Let me revert this all. And Seth, feel free to interrupt anytime you have.
Oh, I mean, I'm just motion tracking my finger real quick, and now I'm going to apply, and now I'm going to bring in particular.
Nice. So now I have a pretty empty plate of the same situation unfolding, but with no biker. With just that situation of of someone getting hit. And so I decided to go to one of my favorite websites, Sketchfab, and or not Sketchfab. I did actually go to Sketchfab, found a Spiderman model,
nice.
And then once I had a Spiderman model, was able to very simply. Let me log back in over here. Log in, password 1234. Verify. Why do I need to verify my identity? I don't have to answer to you. All right. If anyone needs my verification code, it is 8.
We're not seeing it.
9,
you don't have to tell us.
838.
We're not seeing it. We're not seeing it. You don't have to tell us.
Capital S ETH plus HASHI number 4 EVA.
Well, for Ava, for my daughter, Seth and Hashi for Ava.
Yes. All right. So I grabbed what I was leading to is that I grabbed a Spiderman model from very disappointed Spiderman model, which happened to have this wonderful let's see, I think it's called. There happens to be this swing into wall, a wall crash is what they called it. So look at this bit of Mixamo action, which is wonderful. Boom. Someone swinging into an object and then landing. And so I saved out this bit of motion, and then I think I looked for like a run away kind of action, which, what did I end up finding? Oops, run away. Yeah, I think this perfect little bit of comic action. Look at that. So there's him running away. And so I took all that stuff and brought it here into Cinema 4D. The textures look weird here because I wasn't going to render out of here anyway. But once I had these, I exported these using the the file sequence exporter plugin, which now runs with all the way through R24 of Cinema. And then once I had those, I could start to bring in my own Spidey layers into this, resulting in, let me see if I can just bring up my final output here. I don't know why I'm using After Effects as my player here.
I must say the comedy running away is excellent.
It's astonishing. All right, let's see if I think my audio is being shared, so let's try this out here. Oh wait, maybe it's off here. There we go.
Hey! Why does stuff like this always happen when I'm running late? I really don't have time for it.
So there we go.
Dude.
Why does stuff like this always happen when I'm running late? I really don't have time for it.
So obviously, so I took that wall swinging action to make him swing in this far. I basically had that animation sequence paused, and then attached the whole thing to a null up off screen here, and then I used the beam effect to. Oh yeah, let me show you this web. This web was kind of fun. How are we doing on time? 1138.
We're good. I see that I'm doing this effect, but I see that we have one very angry person who's like, "Tell me how you did the liquid effect. I don't care about this."
Wait, what is the
It's a straight line down pouring. Like it's just like I'm
a straight line down pouring. Wait here. Let me cover it here. This is what you would do.
Because here, wait.
This
is what it looks like. He's literally, in fact, if we did frame by frame here, so here he's pouring liquid. And he does this. Whoop! That literally could just be a mask with noise. Like that's not even. It doesn't have to be a particle emitter.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
in fact, I'll do it right now.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Look how fun you can. Fun of a comp you can make just using something like Beam. I mean, Seth is going to be doing something over there with a solid and a mask, I think. But let me show you that what I did was I just took an instance of Beam. Like this is literally the spider web from that last shot. It's just this straight line.
Only Stu are watching today. Beam is getting its due.
Finally getting its due. And then I took this beam. I have a fill color set, and I used fill just, I don't know why I did. I think it didn't look right, and so I just did that. And then I added some bevel alpha to the top. So a little hard to see here, but it's a subtle bit of beveling that you can see. And then I added some turbulent displace to it. So look at that. That turbulent displace is just slight, just so you get this not quite straight line. And then I added light sweep to it. And once I had light sweep on there, I think there are keyframes for this. So as Spidey swung down into frame, you can see this little highlight glint that I move across here. Let's see. This is subtle, and it is hard to see with those lights in frame. So look, there's a nice little grad and a nice little highlight right here. And my web, it's moving so fast you can't tell, but it gives it this a bit of this organic look. And then right here, when I get to the end, I added some CC bender. Just that very simple CC bender, really simple way just to bend a layer back and forth like that. And some turbulent displace. And if you take turbulent displace and displace it from one end to the other, look at this illusion that you get. So this is just a beam that is being curved, and the turbulent displace is on it. And now if I don't move the beam at all, but I just move my turbulence field, I mean, that is what's happening to a string. The string isn't moving, but like an air wave is moving through it. And this is a great way to simulate this little very art-directed string to just manually fly in, taut at first. Oops, sorry, that audio is going to be annoying. So this web element is super simple in the end. It is just, here, it swings in like this. A little glint runs across it like that. Sort of, it's actually the opposite of what light would really do there, but it worked for me. And then right when he slams into the motorcycle cop, it kind of goes swinging off to the side. And in action, it really gives a good impression of being a full like web that is visible enough along with this swinging Spider-Man coming into this motion tracked scene. And actually motion tracked the scene in two halves, because right here, once the camera goes all the way down to the floor here, the cop takes up too much of the space for the camera tracker to grab on anything meaningfully. So yeah, the second half of the scene is tracked separately. Little mask for the motorcycle there. I struggled a lot with Spider-Man's colors in this because it's very easy to make him look like, I think as it came in, he was like very, video gamey. And I wasn't sure how saturated real Spider-Man would be, because you should look at, other red in the scene. Like the red on this, the motorcycle light is super bright. And so I thought, oh, maybe they'll do it super bright. But I found the more closely, let me see if I can disable this effect for a second. I found the more saturated he was, like leaning toward that, he just looked, even though he looked neat, he looked too, yeah, like I think he came in like pretty bright at one point, trying to match the reds, but I don't think that was the right approach for him. So I ended up really just like dulling him down, darkening him down, because it's, I'm bad at color correction, folks, but I thought he looked more realistic than when I had him nicely saturated.
Plus, if he's doing his own laundry and hiding it from Aunt May, he's probably not using color fast detergent anyway.
That's a good point. Yeah, these two things are going to bleed together like crazy in a washing machine, so.
It's true.
I mean, he's not hand washing it.
So this is all I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
Is making Cumberbatch pour some stuff with some liquid.
Hey, you could turn that into the
Literally,
Salt Bay GIF, basically. If you
just animating some crap. Like literally, I have a path, and then I put a gradient ramp on that path, and let's make it a little bit thicker. I have a gradient ramp on that path.
Let's see.
And I am just, I added some turbulent noise, and I'm going to animate that noise to offset its turbulence downward as the comp goes. So it looks like stuff's pouring. See when I do that? If you guys can tell, you can see like, I'll zoom in real tight so we can see it. Mine is the one on the right. Cumberbatch's is the one on the left. You see when I move that perspective like down, it looks like it is pouring downward, so I can just animate that according to my own desires. Oh gosh, I just clicked a whole bunch of stuff. Super simple.
Oh yeah. Yeah, some good chat going on about other ways to create little paths. I mean, shape layers naturally, where you can taper the look of things. You can do some really cool stuff with that, and also have exact control over what the shape is, especially if you wanted to, and if you wanted more easily grabbable pieces, you could use a path points to nulls kind of script, which would be a lot of fun. And yeah, you could do lots of wonderful things. So just while we have just a teeny bit more time here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little recording here. File, new audio file.
Are you going to sing us another song, Hashi? Something like, Spiderman, Spiderman, does whatever a spider can, eat its mate.
You did it.
That is flawless. That is perfect. You see, I should have been recording that. Wait, where are my come back controls? I don't understand this program well enough. Fun look at my cluttered
Anyway, there's
desktop.
your magic chemicals.
Offensive, Hashi. Offensive.
Wait, where are...
And that's how you pour some magic chemicals, everybody.
Look at those magic
You just got to do the line.
chemicals.
All you need is a shape layer and some turbulent displays and some optical glow.
And that's like the
go.
super fancy way. You could have easily just done a line and people would have gone away with it. But there you go.
All right, so let me try something. Let's see. We'll go with Seth. What is something that you like? I don't know.
What are a few of your favorite things? Raindrops on roses?
No, what do I
perhaps?
like? What are we
Maybe-
looking for?
I don't know. Wait, we'll just go with I'm just gonna record a little. Oh, hi, I'm Seth. I love my family and Ecto and stuff, and this is really
Spot on.
me.
Impeccable.
Spot on. All right, so we're just gonna, just for funsies, I'm just gonna save a little. I'm just saving that WAV file because it is amazing. And I'm gonna render it out.
Oh, by the way,
Set
I used
wave.
I used the my ring layer. And by the way, earlier back to these rings, just the last step, I used just a simpler version without Ecto as a layer emitter in particular to have these embers and sparks coming off of the rings. And so that is how I would go about recreating a Doctor Strange mystery ring, mystery decoder ring, whatever we want to call it.
So perfect. And I just for funsies one last time, I'm going to let's see, where did we save that file? We'll save it right here. I'm going to save that Seth wave file, and I'm going to move it here into this Wav2Lip collab file right here, and then I'm going to write my audio file is seth.wave, and then I'm going to start running it. I'll run it, and then down here I'm going to choose to upload this Seth on green screen MP4. I'm just going to let that run in the background for a second while we run out the clock. Exciting, right, everyone? I expect to see overdubbed movies and videos created by all of you. All right, I'll let that run in the background. Is there anything more that you want to show on your
That's
screen,
it.
Seth?
I feel like I got the ring pretty close, especially when you put them next to each other. It's like, yeah, you know what, that works.
That's amazing. You could swap that out, and Marvel wouldn't know.
Don't know, and that's when I reveal. Nope, I'm not taking credit for other people's work. I didn't do that shot. I just recreated it today in VFX and Chill. Would not be surprised if one of our friends did this shot, and they're like watching this, going, "You idiots! We used extremely complicated simulations."
And if you're
what?
And if you did, make Spider-Man and watch the show, come
Come be on the show.
Be on the
Ask
show.
Tom. I mean, Tom loves it. Tom, you love being here, right? God, you're drinking that too much, Tom. That's really not good for you. In fact, the key sees it.
I think that's the second.
Are you happy, Tom? You are happy. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, lip sync battles, amazing. contributions to VFX visual thing, maybe not as medium. That's okay. I mean, I'm not a classically trained dancer who can perform.
Don't lie to the people.
So, we all have our our weak points, but
I mean, dancing, gymnastics, stunts, acting, we can't all do that and visual effects work.
But it's not going to stop us from trying on next week's VFX and Chill. No, not really. Speaking of next week on VFX and Chill, Hashi, yours is doing a processing thing, right?
Mine's a processing thing. Yeah, it may be done. It may be underwhelming, but it's just.
Then I want to take this moment to talk about next week on VFX and Chill. Michael, can you confirm what's happening next week?
We've been here a while.
No, not yet. He committed to the full 2 hours.
The full 2 hours?
Yeah, we've still got him.
We still got him, right, Tom? Yeah, that's how Tom says yes. So, the next week on VFX and Chill, we are very excited. We're going to have our very good friend Ryan Connolly from Film Riot. Now, before you get too excited, I have homework for you. So Connolly's been doing this thing where, and Tom, you know all about this. What, that was a different bottle you just drank from, Tom.
He's got. I love my family, and my render is done. Was what that.
I just heard. Yeah, I just heard someone loves their family. So Ryan Connolly has been doing this thing which is wonderful. These various contests where, in order to win whatever they're giving away, he sicks his fans on us quite wonderfully into our comments to leave very heartwarming, kind comments. So, VFX and Chillers, do we have a noun for our fans?
Oh man, we need a
something like
the
fans. Chill Squad.
No, it's got to be. It's not punny enough for us, I feel.
No, it does need to. It does need to be funny.
Well, so two things for homework. One, if you have a suggestion for what we should call you people, put that into the chat, and we will 100% start calling you that, because that's great. Now, what I want you to do, we would like you to go to Ryan Connolly, the most recent episode of Film Riot. We would like you to leave a comment. What should it say, guys? I didn't think this through. It's got to be something really wonderful, like Seth and Hashi love Ryan, VFXandChill.show, or something overly affectionate and intimate. Hashi, you got something?
I don't know. Man, spread the love. It's hard work that the online film making people tried to do and share with people. So let them know that they are loved by all of us in the Red Giant Chillers over here.
Yes.
The VFX and Chillers. The Red Hot Chili VFX.
the Red Hot VFX and Chili Peppers. So just go tell Ryan Connolly at Film Riot, in the most recent episode of Film Riot, tell the whole Film Riot crew that you love them.
I put the link to a good video in the chat.
Click on that one. Go there. Leave a wonderful comment toward Ryan Connolly and toward his whole crew. They're awesome. We love them.
I mean, Red Giant did it.
Thank you, Red Giant. We love you, Red Giant. And then come back here and keep watching more VFX and Chill episodes, and watch next week when Ryan Connolly appears from nowhere and replaces this silent, useless guest.
Does anyone want to see? Are you able to, before we do our outro, if anyone wants to see the remarkably real? Here we are. Oh, hi, I'm Seth. I love my family and Ecto and stuff, and this is really me. Oh, hi,
Seth. This is really me is the best part of it.
This is definitely me.
My favorite impressions are the ones where people say, I'm in the name of the person they're doing an impersonation of. Exactly.
Washington, and Oh, that is amazing.
I mean, that's
all
a
right,
very spot-on impression of George Washington, by the way. I mean, it sounds
That's like what we've all heard him as in real life. All the recordings.
Yes.
Hashi, can you render that out? I would like for that to be the only effect that we release from this week. Like, even though we've done some really cool effects.
Yes. You can download this, and you can download this MP4.
Just watch it over and over.
And,
I am in front of a green screen, so there are a lot of places you could put this.
That's true. That's true. So with that, I think this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Several successful effects today. We've got skywriting, we got liquid being pulled out of a thing, we've got Spiderman hitting a police officer, we've got the circles of text, we got rocks breaking up and flying around. We had a huge amount of things happen in this episode, and I think because of that, it's going to take me till at least Monday to get the description.
Don't forget the liquid pouring. We poured some liquid with a line. Don't forget that part.
We did pour that liquid. So Tom's looking a little bit
he's ready to go.
Beat now. So
yeah, Tom, thank you for coming. We really miss you. We love you. We appreciate you being here.
So yeah, anytime, man. It would be come back. It would be lovely.
It's been so fun. Daniel, thank you very much.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
See you later, guys.
I'm Seth, by the way. Yeah, I'm okay.
Seth.
Best friends.
He only.
It's weird because I was his connection to be on the show, so it's so weird. I don't know. Anyway, hey Hash.
This has been fun. Hey Hash.
Did you say hey Hash?
I just repeat what you. I thought you were giving me a read.
Yeah.
I just went with it. I mean, that's your directorial method, right? Is the
Yes, I just speak and ask them to repeat after me at all points in time. Well, I guess that's our show.
Delightful. Well, this was a lot of fun. Yeah. Let's end on please go over to Film Riot and make those comments there. What did I say? Hey,
thank you all of you for joining us on VFX and Chill. Please watch all the rest of the episodes. Share it with your friends. If you really like our show, you should be telling people about it, and they should be watching it, or they're not your friends.
Absolutely. Yes, there are no rules about not talking about.
Whoa, one at a time, gentlemen, please.
Sorry. I was just saying, if you like it, thumbs up the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You know, all those things. Smashing like buttons and whatnot.
All the engagement-y things would be super cool. Bring a friend next time. There's no rule about not talking about VFX and
100%.
Chill.
100%. Well, you know what I could go for? I could really go for some credits. So how about these? Bye, everybody.
Ooh.